With less than 6 weeks to go until Election Day, polling from Bloomberg News and Morning Consult continues to show a tight race in every battleground state. In the latest survey, Vice President Kamala Harris holds leads within the margin of error in every swing state but Georgia, where she and former President Donald Trump are tied in this poll. Harris leads by 3 points among likely voters in Arizona, Michigan, and Wisconsin. She's also up by 7 points in Nevada, by 2 points in North Carolina, and by 5 points in Pennsylvania.
And the one race that she's tied in, Georgia, there's the latest Fox News survey of likely voters in Georgia. That has Harris ahead of Trump by 3 percentage points. That, too, of course, falls within the margin of error. So if you look at all of these polls, it's a tie. And you talk to both campaigns, they will tell you it's a tie. Gene, the Harris campaign is very interesting. They're sending out messages. You can tell the specter of the Great Pumpkin 2006 continues to rise over the pumpkin patch, and nobody is saying we feel good. So, like, well, I don't know.
I don't know.
But we finally, we had a long cross-examination last night, Mika and I, with a member, and after about 30 minutes of breaking it down, a couple drinks, they finally broke and said, okay, we feel okay, all right? But nobody's going to say that, all right?
How many drinks did it take?
For them, two or three in, and a spotlight on top of them. It was really, chained to a chair, a metal chair. But there is, it is. Please, come up and have a drink with us tonight.
Or Thursday night in Washington.
But seriously, they are so scared. Because what happened in 2016 when everybody was mocking Donald Trump.
Who doesn't have PTSD?
I know. So you talk to somebody in the Harris campaign, and you have to go deep to find somebody who admit polls are kind of breaking in our favor. And here shows again, except for one poll, which I won't name, the trend lines have been fairly positive over the past month.
No, they've been positive.
But
If you look at the trend lines, you'd rather be Kamala Harris right now than Donald Trump. If you want to win this election, right? Because you look at the long-term trend line and you see that it has crept up, and then she's getting awfully close to that 50%.
Right.
And Trump is basically steady. He's basically got 45, 46%.
Right.
Punto, that's it. But he's overperformed his polls in some prior elections. Everybody remembers 2016. Nobody is going to feel confident, and no one should feel confident because it's going to be a turnout election. I mean, if Harris gets her voters to the polls, they've got the machine out there to do it, but if they get their voters to the polls, then that's a very different story from if they don't.
Right.
So.
And Elizabeth, you look at these numbers, obviously, in the Bloomberg News Morning Consult poll, Harris is doing well. The trend lines are very positive. You go back to before she was in the race and it was Joe Biden, you started to see states like Minnesota, Virginia, New Hampshire suddenly get uncomfortably close. Those races are no longer close. Trump's basically turning the towel off. So it really has. For those that say, oh, it would be the same with Biden, things have dramatically shifted.
A major difference. And as Jane says, the trend line is up for her consistently. We have polling showing that she is doing better on the economy than she was even 2 weeks ago, that she is beginning to catch up with Trump on her perceptions of who would be better for the economy. She's out there talking about what a rich guy he is and how she's, that she's a capitalist for the middle class. Her speech recently where she made clear, as he is saying, I'm not a Marxist, I'm not a socialist, I'm not a communist, I'm a capitalist, trying to, show friendliness towards business. She's got, a lot of these tax cuts, a lot of these plans for young people, $25,000. I don't know where she's going to get the money for this, but she's talking about this $25,000 credit for first-time home buyers, $50,000 for startup new businesses. So she's beginning to make inroads there. But I should say, yes, there's a lot of concern about these hidden Trump voters. I can tell you that there are more newly registered Republicans this cycle than there are registered Democrats, despite the stories we've been running about all the college kids signing up. And there and Trump is doing, in that group, he's doing better among younger men of color than you would expect.
Right. And Katie, the one thing that we have heard from the Harris campaign, even those that will be cautiously optimistic, is that Pennsylvania is the new Ohio. Pennsylvania has had a surge in Republican registration over the past 4 years. So they still believe they can and will win Pennsylvania, but they feel good about Michigan. They feel good about Wisconsin, relatively good. It may be a landslide. Maybe they'll win by a full percentage point in both of those states. But in Pennsylvania, they know it's going to be a fight, and it's going to be a fight because she's doing better, much better among women and most young voters, but older white men, just like people thought after Biden left the race, more of a challenge, pulling them to vote against Trump again.
Yeah, I mean, older white men and actually to younger white men too, also a bit of a challenge. I mean, that number they'll like a lot, up +5 in Pennsylvania, because you're right, it's the new Ohio, it's the new Florida, it's the state where they see they have the most problems. And of course, then either the concern or the upside, depending on how you look at this from the Harris campaign's point of view, is that Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin people think will break the same way. That's what they've done traditionally ever since 1980. I think there's one exception. And so if they lose Pennsylvania, what would that then mean for Wisconsin and Michigan? If they win Wisconsin and Michigan, does that mean they're going to win Pennsylvania? But that's why they're putting so much resources into that. But it's men. I mean, I think the real struggle for the Harris campaign is young men, older men, men of color, white men, and they are doing all they can. You can see, I think the debate next week will be really interesting to see how Tim Walz reaches out to that group. Doug Emhoff, who I interviewed yesterday, I think we've got a clip of that we can have later on the program. He is making a concerted effort in his own way to reach out to that group. They know that's where they know that's where they have a weakness.
And Sam, it's so interesting watching Trump yesterday. I don't know how long he spoke, maybe an hour. But it was hatred and vitriol toward, again, Springfield and migrants and these people who are ruining our country, doubling down on this rhetoric, on these lies. It must be working for them.
Well, they would love to talk about immigration for the rest of the election if they had their druthers. The problem they've had is that they've concocted a bunch of racist lies about Haitians, and they've distracted the conversation from immigration to whether they're being truthful about immigration. That's a different conversation. But I think if it's not a particularly great insight. They've been banking on young men. They put Trump on these platforms. Most of them are not TV platforms. They're podcasts, they're YouTube videos. They want to generate more enthusiasm among young men, but also young men who have not necessarily been politically engaged before. That's a high-risk, high-reward strategy for them, right? The reason is that they haven't been politically engaged, so can they activate them? I will say we go all over these poll numbers incessantly. You can drive yourself crazy. I think the more important numbers aren't the polls. It's around the economy. Right. And so when you have gas prices that are going down a little bit, when you have interest rates being cut, when you have the 30-year fixed mortgage rate that's at its lowest level in a couple of years, those are the things that are going to materially matter more in this election, I think, because it does add to the perception that the economy may be improving, which then in turn gets imparted on Kamala Harris because she is part of the administration. And I thought the most important data point and story yesterday was, in fact, from your paper, which looked at that the view of voters in terms of her ability to handle the economy, which is usually correlated to the election, and she isn't making improvements there. If she can get to a tie with Trump or even better him, I think that is way more important than any Bloomberg Morning Consult poll.
You don't like Bloomberg Morning Consult?
I like them. I do. I will say, just to circle it all here, this morning they put out, the Harris people put out a fundraising email, and they chose a certain poll to highlight. It was the New York Times Siena poll, because they love the idea of people freaking out, because then they can write checks to
Let me tell you, I joke about the New York Times Siena poll, but I think the Democrats are actually funding the polling.
They love it.
Because every time one comes out, every Democrat freaks out. We must work harder. We must spend more money. Go. There's been, Jonathan Lemire, for some time, the suggestion that the only way that Joe Biden before, but now Kamala Harris can get to 270 is to go through the blue wall of Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. The fact is, now let's put up the Bloomberg poll that Sam Stein so derisively commented about.
Yeah.
And see, and to show you their new pathway, if they do not win Pennsylvania, they feel more confident every day with North Carolina. They feel good about Georgia, and they feel good about Nevada. I've got to say that Nevada +7 sticks out like a sore thumb. Yeah. That sticks out to me kind of like Wisconsin +14 before the 2020 race where Joe Biden was supposed to win that state. I think it was an ABC poll. Supposed to win that state by double digits. Nobody's going to win Nevada by 7 points. But still, they have several pathways to 270, and they're playing it that way. They are going to go down fighting in North Carolina and Georgia.
Yeah, there's no question. There's no one involved in the Harris campaign who thinks they're up 7 in Nevada. I think that people think that's a tie. Nevada is one of those states that's always razor thin. It tends to break Democrat at the last minute. They think it will again, but certainly no one thinks it's going to be that lopsided. I think you're right about the path. They feel very good about Michigan, Wisconsin fairly well. Pennsylvania is, as you guys have rightly said there, a source of real anxiety. Demographic trends are breaking away from Democrats in that state. There are some prominent Democratic thinkers and pollsters who think in a cycle or two, Pennsylvania might slip away like Ohio and become more of a light red state. But right now, it's a true battleground. It's going to be very close. But they feel great about North Carolina. As we'll get to later in the show, Donald Trump was asked point blank yesterday about Mark Robinson, the controversial gubernatorial candidate there, and he chose not to disavow. He just suggested, well, I don't know enough about it, and walked away. So Democrats are going to continue to tie Robinson and Trump together. And in terms of Harris, her two biggest weaknesses heading into this election were perceived as the economy. And as you guys have just mentioned, polls show that she's really picked up steam there. That speech in Pittsburgh this week has been pointed to. The Fed rate cut, helpful. Gas prices lowered, people feeling better about the economy. And the other is immigration. And as we're going to talk a little bit later, she heads to Arizona today, one of those states like Georgia, a true toss-up. And she's going to talk about, she's going to the border, she's going to talk about immigration, and she's going to squarely blame Donald Trump for killing the bill that would have helped.